this is a shift that has happened in this center line portion. From 2013, when TDSR came out, you will notice that these red color bars are actually getting into a smaller population, because what developers are doing is that because they want to keep the quantum very tight in order to ensure that more audiences and more buyers can afford the lower quantum properties. Though PSF is rising for new launches, but apartment sizes become smaller, you also will notice that in terms of freehold land, it is dwindling. The key reason is because government land sales has no more freehold land. So compared in the past, there are actually more freehold properties. And of course, right now, if you look at the newer projects from 2014 to 2022, there are more 99-year property, which is a dark blue color zone. So could this be an opportunity for you to step up a freehold property in this season? Is it basically a good plan to actually discover whether freehold properties are suitable for your portfolio, especially if you have an entry range of between $4 to $8 million for your next home? Now, this is basically the entire breakdown of landed stock transacted from 2000 to 2013 here, as well as 2014 to 2022. Of course, what can we see from here is that we actually break down in terms of the land size. So usually the inter-terraces, they will fall between about 1,600 plus square feet range. And then of course, as we move into the semi-D range, it will be about 2,152 all the way to about 4,003. And then of course, we will move towards the detached range. Now, of course, we cannot see much deviation over here because predominantly for landed homes, they are 999s or freehold in nature. But of course, that also will give you a conclusion that it might be safer to go for a freehold version if you're hunting for a landed property instead of a 99 years lease. So we actually had a previous round of webinars. So thank you for attending that previous round where we talked about cluster homes, strata landed homes. And of course, 3 webinars backwards, we talked about a landed webinar purely about landed property and opportunities in this year. So thank you for joining us tonight, and we always are very appreciative of course, the participants that are joining us for discussion. So for today's webinar, we're going to talk about these 3 things. Firstly, we're going to look at the transactions of freehold landed and CCR condos and apartments between this price range. Secondly, we're going to look at the current level of available inventory. And when we talk about current available inventory, we're talking about how many listings are available in the market at this point in time. Of course, we're going to take the most popular portal, which is Property Guru, as today's main discussion topic. And then we're going to then move on to the final conclusion, is that if you have $4 to $6 million or $6 to $8 million, we understand that this is a very common question in the last 2 years, because if you have $4 to $6 million, sometimes you will contemplate, hey, should I go for a CCR property? Because maybe I want to get into District 10, Bukit Timah, for good schools for my kids. And I want to get into like within a kilometer of some of the very popular schools that I'm aiming for my children, especially going to the primary school age. And most of these properties are between $4 to $6 million for maybe a 3 or maybe a 4 beta. And if you have $6 to $8 million, you can go for a bigger, more prestigious and more so-called higher size projects in the CCR zone. But sometimes you would then fall into a dilemma. Hey, you know, I heard my friends telling me that it might be a little bit better maybe for the school part. I understand that is a need, but if let's say for longevity and capital appreciation portion, would it be better to go for an OCR or maybe an RCR landed home, because they seem to fall in the same price range? So which might be a better option? Because maybe for the school, you can rent a place for 30 months to fulfill that obligation. And of course, you have to live in the rental property, but could you use a reinvesting kind of concept? You rent, fulfill the 1 kilometer, get into the school, but of course, at the same time, you invest in a landed home. So we understand this. There's this very real dilemma on the ground, because this can be one of the key decision factors. After you buy the property, you also want it to perform in the next 5 to 8 years. And that is why we want to talk about this topic today.